When Randall Joyner got hurt the other night against Texas Tech, you're the first one in. When you get forced into action like that, is there sort of a checklist you go through as you're going in ready to take over his position?
Not necessarily. No, I don't really want to say a checklist. I'm more like when we're during practice, coach always tells the seconds to prepare like they're gonna play in the game, to prepare like they're number one. So when he went down, of course I felt for him. But as my job as a second, I got to come in and make sure there's no drop off and make sure that everything is still going to run smoothly.
And Coach Mason said it may be a game time decision or a game day decision whether you or John Bordano starts there, but obviously both of you guys will play, I guess. Does the communication among the linebackers change when Rambo goes out? Like, does the communication and the calls go over to Kevin Pope, or does that position still retain a lot of those calls and checks?
That position still retains a lot of the calls and checks. Like I said, when you're the second, you want to prepare like you're the starter because, like Coach Mason always emphasizes, you never know. You're one play away from actually being the guy. So you always got to know everything. You got to know all the defense. You got to know where the drops are, what you got to do, what other people got to do, so that you know that when you get in, that everything is still running smooth and that he'll have confidence in you.
You guys obviously have a lot of athletic linebackers this year, and Coach Mason likes to rotate you guys. So you and John will both play. Does it matter to you who starts? Is there an ego thing or a measure of pride involved in who gets the first snap?
No, not at all. I mean, I think me as a linebacker, as being one of the older guys, I mean, you kind of, I guess, have a respect for each other. And I mean, whoever coaches has the ultimate decision. So whoever he puts in, I mean, you got to respect that. And then, I mean, if your number gets called, then you got to be ready.
Coach Jones always says in the press conference after games, he'll talk about a certain play or player, but then he'll say, well, I got to look at it on film. Against Texas Tech, they got 450 or 60 total yards, but you guys made some plays too. You had, I think, 4 sacks. Once you watched that game on film, what was your overall impression of the way your defense performed for the first time out this year?
I think we flew around pretty good in the beginning of the game. I think, like you said, we made some plays. We had some sacks early, had some balls on the ground that we couldn't capitalize on, so we definitely got to get that in order. But, I mean, for the first time out on the field against a hurry-up offense, not really having a lot of film study on what they're going to do because, you know, they got a new coach and all that stuff. So I felt pretty positive about us. I think at the end we kind of lost a little bit of wind, got kind of winded and got tired. But overall, I think we performed pretty good.
You always hear people say that one of the biggest adjustments comes between game 1 and game 2. Right. What do you and the defense want to clean up or tighten up between the Texas Tech game and Montana State this Saturday?
Definitely want to clean up tackling. I mean, we let one get loose. Down there late in the game, we let one get loose. We just gotta continue to tackle. Got to continue to get to the ball as a group. Got to definitely force turnovers. I mean, that was one of our big keys last year in a lot of our wins, and I think it'd be a real key this year. So we definitely got to force some turnovers.
Coach Jones mentioned that after the game, and he's mentioned it during practice this week. I guess you guys got the ball out on the ground 5 or 6 times,
right.
Didn't come up with any.
Right.
What can you do to change that? And, you know, I know part of it is the ball bounces different ways, but is it just a matter of swarming to the ball, or are there certain things you can do?
I think I don't really think there's anything you can do if you're already a kind of a swarm defense and you're already getting to the ball. I mean, it's, like you said, sometimes it's not going to bounce your way. And as long as we keep hustling and getting to the ball, we're going to have a few bounce our way, and we got to make sure we can capitalize on those.
Now that you've had a few days to look at film, what are the big things that jump out off of film about Montana State's offense?
They want to establish the run. They do. They run a lot of power. They got a really good quarterback. You got to respect them. You got to respect your opponent. And I mean, you just got to go out there and play hard.
Their quarterback, Denarius McGee, Coach Jones has talked about how mobile he is. In terms of the way he runs, does he remind you of anyone that you've seen before?
Trying to think back. Not really. I mean, he has great speed. Like I said, you got to respect him, but I think every quarterback is different in the aspect of how they run. If it's a straight line speed, if they're a wiggle guy, I think he's more of a straight line guy. And if he breaks the chain, I think he has the ability to take it all the way.
So do they use him more On design runs, or does he use that speed just to get away from the defense?
Just to get, like, if he thinks he's going to get pressure or if we blitz or anything like that, I feel like he just uses that speed to get away from the sack. He wants to throw it more. He wants to stay in the pocket. And the only time he really wants to run it is if he has to avoid the sack or anything.
Coach Mason has said some nice things about their running backs as well. Is the key Saturday containing the running backs or containing this quarterback and trying to keep him in the pocket and make him throw?
I think the key is just containing the running backs. I mean, like I said, they like to run the ball a lot, and we got to make sure that as a defense that we know that and that we're paying attention to what formations they're in, things like that, what we're going to get, and make sure we tackle the running back and get a lot of bodies on them, tire them out.
With Randall Joyner out this week, who's the vocal leader?
I mean, I'm stepping up. Kevin Pope, he's definitely a vocal leader also. Like I said, when you're the second, you got to prepare like you're going to be the starter because like Coach Mason always says, yeah, you're one play away. So definitely I'm out there being vocal. Kevin Pope's out there being vocal. So, I mean, we're just kind of sharing it right now.